Good afternoon, Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal. Welcome to the live webinar of Ambe International. I'm coming to you live from Mumbai, and this is the seventh or the eighth live session that we have started since the lockdown, since the time of COVID. This is a series of webinars which we have been conducting as Ambe International. जहां हम we want to connect with all candidates, all job seekers who have had some experience with Ambe International. At Ambe, we have placed over 3.5 lakh people over 40 years. तो काफी जॉब सीकर्स हैं जो हमको जानते हैं और हम उनको वेलकम करते हैं. We welcome all of you. Today I'm going to be talking in English because our session is going to be about jobs in Europe. Right, it's an upcoming area where Indian workers are being welcomed, where job opportunities are coming up. As Ambe, we have already recruited a few hundred people to Europe, and there's a lot of learnings that we want to share with you. Obviously, right now in this time of Corona, you cannot travel to Europe, you cannot get jobs over there. But this session today is more about how do you prepare yourself for the future. Definitely after 2-3 months, things will improve, things will normalize, and we will all get a chance to go, start hunting for jobs in Middle East and Europe. Traditionally, most of you look for jobs in Middle East, but today we're going to discuss how you can start preparing for jobs in Europe, right? So that's our topic today. For those of you who are just joining us, welcome again. I'm live from Mumbai, from Ambe International. I'm the owner of Ambe International. And if we can have the link below for our registration, we can tell everyone how they can register for jobs in Europe with Ambe International, so that you can quickly register with us as well. So you can see down below on the scrolling screen, if you look at bit.ly/AmbeEU, and if you click on that on your mobile, you'll get taken to a page where you just fill up 4 or 5 form fields, and you can actually start applying for jobs in Europe. All right, so we have an exciting session ahead. I'm going to just talk a little bit about, why Europe and why you should be looking at jobs in Europe. And then we have our partners from Europe joining us live today. We have our partners and we have our client, someone who owns and runs a very large construction company, who's also going to be joining us. And we're going to talk to you about, how do you go about job hunting in Europe. Now, see, the first thing that you must realize about jobs in Europe is that you need to have a long-term outlook. A lot of people think that, we can just apply for jobs in Europe and, I'll get a high salary and I can, there's a pot of gold waiting at the end of the rainbow. No, it's not like that. See, while salaries in Europe are high, they're higher for experience. They're higher for locals in the EU. They are higher for people who have experience in the European Union. If you're a fresh person who has experience in the GCC, your salaries won't be much higher than the Middle East to start out with, right? Which is why you need to have a long-term outlook. Once you have spent 2 years in the EU, you've got experience from a country in the EU like Germany or Romania, then you can look at starting to move up the value chain, get a better position, get higher salaries. But this doesn't happen with your first job, boss. It happens with your second and third jobs. That's number one. Number two, you must understand that unlike the Middle East, you can go to Europe and make a life for yourself. What do I mean by that? Yahan pe, all of you, I'm seeing a lot of questions coming up. Sandeep is saying he's a scaffolder, Kuwait 2.5 years experience. Mohammad Mazhar is saying pipe and foreman, Gulf experience. Pipe fitters from, again, with Gulf experience. You must realize in the Gulf, you'll never be able to take your family's boss. Correct or wrong? Right? Unless you become an engineer manager 20 years hence, you will be able to call your wife, you'll be able to call your children. In Europe, it's not that way. In Europe, after 2, 3, 4 years, you can hope to get a PR, which you can never hope to get in the Middle East. Then you could call your children, you can call your wife, you can call your family. Your wife in turn could find jobs over there. So you can start earning double income. Long term, you can build your family life while working in Europe. And you can also hope to maybe, 7 or 8 years down the line, even get a passport. If you've spent time there, if, you haven't jumped jobs, you don't have a ban in any other European country, you've been stable with the company, you can demonstrate residential requirements, you can demonstrate that you've been paying your taxes, you can actually get a passport. Middle East, this is impossible, right? In the 7 GCC countries, there must be less than 100 or 200 Indians who have been given local passports. Whereas in Europe, this is a normal thing. If you've worked in Europe, if you've contributed to taxes, if you've been a worker over there, following the laws, rules, and regulations, you can actually get a passport over there. So, which is why you need a long-term outlook. Just going there for a 1-year contract or 2-year contract doesn't make sense for you or the companies, because the process of recruitment and hiring you there is also a lot more expensive. You must understand this. Every company, for you to get a work permit, for you to travel there, for you to do your documentation, it takes minimum of 2 to 3 months for us to get a work permit for you for Europe. After that, we have to get visa stamping done in India. There are several documents like PCCs, insurance. Abhi COVID ke time mein you have to do different medicals. वो सब करके it is a 2 to 3 month process for us just to get your work permit. And companies in Europe will spend a lot of money over there. So when you're applying for a job to Europe and you're getting selected, it's a long-term commitment that you're making, and you better be sure that that is what you want to do. I won't talk for too long because we have our partners from Europe also joining us. But I would like to say one other thing is that if you want to work long term in Europe, I see a lot of people with 18 years experience. Mansoor Ahmed has 18 years experience. Kashyap has saying I'm a maintenance technician, 10 years. Prashar Dinesh is saying 10 years experience. In Europe, you would join with similar salaries to what you're getting in the Gulf. Please, everyone, please understand this. When you take up your first job in Europe, you will get similar salaries to what you're getting in Europe, maybe a little bit more. But as you spend more time in Europe, get local experience and pick up the language. See, in Europe, every country has a different language. There are only 3 or 4 countries in the entire 23 European Union who actually speak English. So Romania, where we're going to have our partners joining us, speak Romanian. Germans speak German. The French speak French. So you have to spend time in that country, pick up the language, and that is how you move up the value chain. And that is why this is a long-term investment that you make. All right, I think I have spoken enough. I now want to invite my partners from Romania and Europe. I want to get Ritu ma'am to join us. Just to introduce Ritu ma'am, she has a lot of experience in the field of recruitment. She's worked with a lot of multinationals. She's our partner in Europe. She heads up Ambe Europe. She must have already recruited, a few hundred, probably a couple of thousand people over there. A lot of them are Indians. So she's a veteran of the industry, and she's going to take over and talk to us about what it means to go job hunting in Europe. Welcome, Ritu.
Thanks, Amit. Hello, everyone. And we are very glad to join you all and help you understand the construction industry job market in Romania and in Europe overall. And I'll be shortly we'll be having also Dragoș Alex with us, who has a lot of experience in the construction industry, and he will tell you some things very specific to the construction industry. Okay, so I would like to start with where Amit left, that when you think of a job in Europe, please think long term. Think at least 3 to 5 years. Then it's worth it, because anything less than that, it won't be any value addition to your career. And it won't help you, and neither will it help the company for who you are coming to work. When we say think long term, we want you to think long term as in also investing in yourself. And as Amit said, the first thing would be the language. It is important that you learn the local language. It is not only, it will help you to integrate well, to adapt, and to perform better in your job. Maybe some of you know, but let me give you some statistics. Last year, more than 5,000 Indians came to Romania, only to Romania to work, and majority came for the construction industry. Now, that's a good thing that India is coming up in the job market. In comparison, there are way more Vietnamese coming. They're double. Last year, more than 10,000 Vietnamese came to Romania to work. There are like almost 6,000-7,000 Sri Lankans came. So we must keep in mind that we are not the only ones. Yeah, we have other Asian countries also who are, let's say, competing. Who are coming to get a job in Europe, and of course, we consider India a little ahead of the other countries in terms of education, in terms of cultural diversity, in terms of also work experience. Because Indians have been working in the Gulf region and other parts of the world, so we do see that Indians have an advantage. But to keep that advantage, we need to upgrade ourselves so that Europe accepts Indian workers, and Indian workers can get paid and treated at the same level as other European workers. So the language would be the first thing, and the second most important thing which we have observed in the especially in the construction industry is the quality. Now here I would like to say something which may not sound very positive, but our job is to tell the truth so that we all can in the long run have something to gain. A lot of Indian workers do not put emphasis on quality work. Like when they just think, okay, no, I have to do something, how many hours I have to work, let me just do that. It just does not work like this here. It is not important the number of hours. What matters is the quality and the productivity. To help you understand the things, we have to work. We don't have to work like a donkey. We have to work like a horse. Yeah, we don't have to just do stupid hard work, which does not produce anything. We have to work in a smart way, which is a value addition to you and to the company. That's what the companies want in Europe. They don't want to keep you at the workplace for 12 hours and 16 hours, but producing nothing. No, it doesn't help anyone. So please, whatever you know to do it well. Do it in a proper way, because that is what will be appreciated here, and that is what will take you further in your career. And at this point of time, I would like to request Alex to tell us more about the construction industry and about the productivity in the construction industry.
Yes. Hello. Okay, can you hear me? Hello? It's okay? Hello, my name is Dragunoiu Alexandru, and I represent the we have an extended experience with construction workers over this time. As Mrs. Ritu said, we always focus on productivity because this is how we can know at what time and at what rate we can have a point of development in a project done. All our European projects have a tight schedule, which we always have to take care of with our technology and with our knowledge, but especially with our workforce, because this is the thing that takes a project further and make make it be a successful project. Regarding to this, some tips or a way of working that we are having in the construction market. We always try to fit the demand of the worker with the demand of the project. There has to be a good communication between our marks, and this is what we're focusing on, to have the needs of the worker as well as the needs of the project in sync. Yes. Oh, what should
I think you need to tell them a little about how the chantier is organized here a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's try to think about a construction site which has its points of interest for the step-by-step evolution of a construction site. So we always have to trust that the nearest colleague that has to prepare my job, and I have to prepare the site for his job. These things come in the way of the development of the work. We all have to communicate and to have a productivity factor, so we don't get with the development in a slow pace because of lack of knowledge or lack of communication. So in the construction site, everybody has to do his part in time, and always looking at the development graphic of our site.
Yeah, I think what Alex is trying to say is that it's very important, the teamwork, because here how the construction sites are organized, they are interconnected. So each one is depending on the other one, and if the one person doesn't do his job well, the whole site suffers in terms of productivity and the final result. So it is very important that we learn to work as a team. This is another factor which we have observed, that the Indians, when they come here to work, it takes us a while to sync them, because everyone knows their job. They don't care about what the other person has to do. Now this is not going to work here. It is important to learn to work as a team and to do a collective performance. Yeah.
Yes, this is what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And this is what gets a project done. Also, regarding the quality, our quality in construction is based on the knowledge of the worker, and we have always tried to get everybody at the same point of experience to share and to sustain. Maybe some don't know as much, some others do know what is the workflow, and we always try to get everybody on the same pace. This is important, and for this you have to be attentive and focused on how everything goes on in a construction site. Quality is also ensured by machinery that you get to work with, and this is another point which I want to talk about, is how flexible are your skills as a mechanic, and for the truck, or for a lorry, or for a backhoe truck. You have to be flexible and to get maybe on different types of machinery. This is very, very well taken care of point of view. To see, you can work on different type of machinery or branding of machinery. You have to know how to work with them. So this is important, so we don't lose very much time to learn same type of machinery but with a different brand. This should not be a bad
An obstacle.
An obstacle, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, actually, what Alex is trying to say is that multi-skilling and adapting is another factor which is very important. Like if you know to work on certain kind of machinery, when you come here, it may not be the same, but you should be open to how to work on the equipment which is available here, and if you can learn it quick, it's a big value addition. That is what
Sure.
Alex is trying to say.
Yes, of course. The productivity matter. We always have to think about the working hours, but as Mrs. Brito said, at the same time we have to make the hours work. You have to be focused on achieving your duty in short time, but not go over the quality of the work. There are some steps in every type of work that need to be taken care of and prepared, so you can be sure that at the end of your work everything is just as it has to be. So we don't want to go back and fix something or to have to adapt something in the process of finishing the work. This is where a lot of work hours are getting lost and productivity goes down. We always have to be attentive and very focused on the steps of the work.
Yeah.
Okay. No.
Okay, so the last thing we would like to say, and I'm sure Alex agrees on this, that that Europe does have jobs. We have shared last time a lot of statistics, and we keep sharing this kind of information with our office in India, that Europe does have jobs. Only we need to see, are we prepared for it? Because that is what will decide if we are in the race. As I said earlier, there are other Asian countries also who come here to work, and even if we do not like it, there is comparison, and they'll always say, okay, fine, are the Vietnamese more productive than Indians? So we need to work on our productivity, on our quality output, on our adaptability, and very important is we have to think long term. If we are thinking, I'll just go there, work for 6 months, go to another job, run to Germany, run to Italy, and so on, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So if you're coming here, please keep in mind, please give at least 2 years. 2 years learning, growing, adapting, and you will see the results will be positive for everyone, also for the company and also for you.
Yes, of course, this is a very good point of view, because as you work in the same workplace, maybe in the same company, you get to know exactly what will happen and when, because you get used to the workflow of that company, because I think every company has its own personal type of work and management. So you need to adapt to that management. And if the worker gets to work over and over the same thing in the same manner, the management gets to have trust in that worker, that he knows what he needs to do, and there are no loose times or
he's efficient.
Yes, with no waste of time, we
Yeah.
get efficiency, and this is very important for a good project to have a good end.
Yeah. Okay. So back to you, Amit.
Thank you so much, Ritu ma'am. Thank you so much, Alex. That was, good, nice and concise of what we wanted to say, in terms of workers looking to come to India. We'll now get to the most exciting part of our session today, which is, answering people's questions, because that's what the live session is meant for. They ask us questions and we answer. So I thought I'll start out with a question of my own to both our expert panelists for today. Which is, how do you think this whole coronavirus is going to affect construction in Europe and, by import jobs in construction in Europe?
Okay. You want me to answer that? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll answer a part of it there. Okay, Amit. So if you remember, 2 days back, I shared an article with you. So according to the statistics, construction industry is one of the least affected industry in Europe because of the pandemic. So the construction is going on and it is going to grow. Okay, that's what at least the market shows at this point of time. Now, as in terms of job market, jobs in the construction industry, it's going to, as the specialists are saying, that is also going to remain as it was before the pandemic. The only difference which may happen is we are seeing, this is specific to Romania, there were more than 2 million Romanians working outside Romania in the construction industry. Some of them have come back home, but the numbers are not big. Okay, so that's what the statistic shows. So definitely the jobs in the construction industry are there and they'll continue to be there. What can be a handicap at this point of time is the traveling. That is something which is not in our hand. That is something which no one can control at this point of time. So even if the jobs are there, but if people can't travel to Europe, that's something we all have to, just wait and see. Yeah. So Alex,
Yes,
yeah.
this is with the traveling issue. Of course, it is out there, and this is the only thing that keeps us maybe at a slow pace with bringing the workforce in Europe. But outside that, we had in Romania at least during the urgency state of the government, the works on civil engineering and hydrotechnical works were at a normal pace. Of course, with the security of
The workers.
This was the only change, but everybody had to work, and we did not slow down the development of our projects because it was not needed to, and the workers were safe and could get their job done.
Superb. So, I
We
hear.
get work. That's the thing is that COVID-19 is not halting the workflow.
Superb. So, the positive takeaway for me is that the both of you are saying very, very unequivocally that, construction has not slowed down. COVID-19 has not stopped the progress of construction. And
Sure.
obviously, the demographics of Europe is such that even if, there are small blips in terms of requirements, we still need a lot of people. So that's very encouraging, I'm sure, for everyone who's logged in. So I'm going to start taking some questions. The first one, there's Mr. Arun Desai. Arunji comes on all of our chats and, So I'll take up his question first because it's also a very important question. I'm going to put it on the screen, and then Ritu or Alex, whoever wants to address this question from Mr. Arun Desai.
Okay. Hello, Arun. So vacancies in Europe are for all levels, also for civil engineers. So it's not just for workers. Only thing is that at the civil engineer level, where we are talking of maybe foreman or above positions, what comes as a hindrance is the language, because you see, as a civil engineer or as a foreman, you're not expected to coordinate just your India team. Maybe you will have to work with a local team as well, and if you do not know the local language, it doesn't work. Yeah. Also, as a foreman or as a coordinator, I should say, you are expected to do more than just the site managing work. There is also a bit of administrative work. There's some paperwork involved, and again, if you do not know the language, it does not help. So if you want to come and be positioned as a coordinator, please learn the language. That's going to be the key factor. I mean, we are telling you from our experience. There are very good technical people, civil engineers and foremen or coordinators, but because they cannot communicate with the whole team, they were not given that position. Okay, I think that answers.
Superb. So I think we've answered Mr. Arun Desai. We'll take a question from Mr. Shivakumar Natarajan next, who has a lot of experience. I don't know how you're going to answer his question.
Well, it's oil and gas, Amit. So we have been saying this, that Romania really does, we can't compare it to the Gulf, Here the number of vacancies are way lower, and the needs are also very different in oil and gas than what is in the Gulf. So honestly, I'm no expert on this. Amit knows way more than me than in oil and gas.
So you're putting me on the spot, huh, Ritu?
Yes.
So Mr. Shivkumar, firstly, thank you, sir, for coming. Thank you for your interest in watching the webinar as well. See, what Ritu ma'am said is true. In Europe, the main oil and gas industry is actually in the North Sea. And the oil reserves in Europe are not on the climb. In the Gulf, new fields are still being discovered, new refineries are being made, new pipelines are being made. So there's a lot of work in the Middle East. Whereas in Europe, maybe some parts of Middle Europe, countries like Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, yes, there are new oil fields, there is pipelines and refineries being built. But besides that, there isn't much oil and gas work. Now, having said that, there is, and this I've learned from Ritu only, which I'm going to tell you people, is that the Black Sea does have some wells, and they do have some refining and pipeline work that happens. Right now, it's more maintenance work, but there is periodic construction and upgradation work that takes place. So it's not like there is zero jobs available in oil and gas in Europe, but the number of jobs available are less than those available in the Middle East. And the jobs that are available require a higher level of skill. And, also they require different certifications. So, for example, for welding, I see a lot of questions on welding that have come up. Mr. Muhammad Firoz has, for example, asked about welding. There are other certifications like NEFT, which are in play over there. So those are things you'll have to pick up before you can come to Europe. Next question we'll take up is from Mr. Inamul Haq, who doesn't want to do the hard work. He wants us to do the hard work and tell him what are the current opportunities in Romania and Europe.
So the current opportunities in the construction field are pretty attractive, I think, because in Romania there is a very high demand of workforce in the construction area. In the last few years, this had an exponential growth. in the market, and we need workers for every level. We need for infrastructure works, and also for civil works as well, because we have at this moment there are lots of living buildings, or apartments and residential sites that are being built, and they are in need for workers. So in Romania, at least, you can really get somewhere to get a job.
Yeah. I mean, just to give you something more specific, is that Romania in the next 5 years is planning to construct 3 highways, which will be connecting Romania to the other European countries, which is a lot of infrastructure work going to happen in the next 5 years. Similarly, Romania is absolutely, the demand on the office space is growing at an unimaginable speed. So there are a lot of office space being constructed, and in the next 2 years they are saying that it should double to accommodate the number of offices needed. So there's going to be a lot of construction happening. Yeah.
So the opportunities are here. I mean, there's.
So we'll try and find now. There's a lot of civil questions coming up since Alex mentioned civil. So I'm going to put up the question of Mr. Madajez Ahmed, who's saying that he's a civil foreman, 9 years experience in Bahrain, and he's searching for a job. What advice can we give him in terms of skill sets, Ritu or Alex?
Okay.
Foreman chef de chantier.
Yeah. What advice? As Mrs. Ritu said before, the language is a very good skill point, because if you're gonna get to manage a team or a whole construction site, you have to be able to communicate as fast and as clearly as possible. So English is accepted, because some of the workers speak English as well. So this is a type of communication. But also the local language, which is Romanian, and maybe just to know what it's about at the first, before getting to speak it. It's a big plus. The local language is important as well. This should be think of maybe how to learn Romanian.
Super.
Okay.
So I think this is your question, Ritu. You're going to talk about this, I'm sure.
Hello, Siraj. So, well, as Amit said earlier, there is nothing called a basic language. Depends on the country where you are working. Please learn the local language. Like if you're coming to work to Romania, please learn Romanian, and learn Romanian to the A1 or A2 level. Yeah, A1 or A2 level would mean you would be able to understand and speak. Even if you're not able to write, that's okay, because we are not expecting you to write at the beginning. But A1 and A2 level allows you to at least understand and speak, or to answer. So just learn the language to the country where you are going to work. If you're going to Germany, learn German. If you're going to Spain, learn Spanish. But if you're coming to Romania, learn Romanian. And demand for civil engineer in quality field. Yes, I mean, we answered it before. Jobs are there, but we need to adapt ourselves. Please inform yourself about the way the work is done, in Europe. So if you do that, I think we definitely will have openings for you.
So the next question by Mr. Prasanjit Prasad is a very interesting one, and why I've chosen this question, Ritu, is because this word HVAC, is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. And I think we need to tell people about the weather in Romania and why these jobs will be a little bit different.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so maybe many of you know that Romania is part of the Europe. It is somewhere in the east of Europe, yeah, and it is basically a cold country, yeah. We do have a summer, but not a long summer, and the winters are more important, and they are long, and they are tough. So the temperature goes up to like minus 20, minus 20 degrees at least, yeah, even more sometimes. So here when we say of air conditioning, we think only of heat, not of cold. And so actually what we need is, what is in demand is people who know to work with the heating systems. Like there is a lot of what do you call floor heating, yeah. It's called Incălzire în pardoseală. Yeah, so it is the floor heating system. If someone knows to work with that, lot of jobs for that. Also same with the heating systems, as electricians. If you know to work with that, there is a job for that.
I thought I'd provide some variety here. Someone asking for supermarket and BPO jobs. I don't know how that's related to construction, but
yeah. Well, again, so, hello, Kashan. So supermarket, again, language, because you'll be working with the people there, also maybe with the customers and with the team of the supermarket. So language is very important. BPO, you must be knowing that Romania is like India. Romania is a hub for BPO in Europe. So almost, all the big companies have their BPO in Romania. As much as we know, there are lots of openings. But again, BPOs in Romania are looking for European languages. The highest in demand is German. Then it is any of the Nordic languages, which means Norwegian, Swedish, Finnish. And then it is Spanish. So if you can learn any of these languages, yes, you very easily can get jobs in BPO. I mean, English is not the language which they're looking for. That's what I want to say.
Superb. So Ritu, you think we could take 3 more questions before we wrap up the session for the day?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So so I put this up because if you would like to answer about how we work, or if you like, I'll answer the question, Ritu. Whatever.
No, I think you should go ahead and answer, Amit.
Sure. So thank you, Mukesh, for logging in and asking this question. So this webinar is obviously part of how we help people. We are giving you information, accurate information. This is not through intermediaries. This is not, you're not finding it out from some sub-agent. We are live from Mumbai. We are live from Romania. So, we're telling you what we want to hire. Company experts like Mr. Alex are coming here to tell you what they're specifically looking for. We're telling you what the attributes and characteristics we are looking for. If you register with Ambe, you can see the email address at the bottom of the screen, and you can also see the link to register with Ambe. If you register, then and if we find a job which matches your skills, we will get back to you. We will call you up. We will schedule an interview. If you're passing the interview, then obviously there's a whole host of things that happen. There is salary negotiation that happens. Once you agree on the salary, then we help you with the work permits. We help guide you on how to apply for the visas. And then finally, even going to the company, we handhold you. It's not like, we just book an air ticket and we let you go. We book your ticket, we coordinate with the company. And even after you've joined the company, we continue to handhold, right? We help set expectations with the employees as well as the employees, because, this is like a marriage, it's difficult to make marriages last. So, we work in setting your expectations. We tell you about temperatures, we tell you about salaries, we tell you about labor laws, we tell you about what the employer expects from you. That is how we help you. And we've been doing this for 40 years. And we prefer and try to work with excellent companies like Mr. Alex's company, which has also been doing this for a very long time. See,
More than
the number
25 years.
25 years, that's, I would like to say it was my age, but it's not. But it's definitely, it's a long time. 25 years shows a lot of stability, and those are the kind of companies that we work with. So we are one question down. Please.
Yeah. And I just want to say that, and as Ambe Europe, we have an induction and an integration program for you. So when you come here, we do take you through an induction program, which helps you to settle down here. Yeah.
So we'll take our second last question of the day. This is from Mohammad Shamshad Sheikh. He has a really nice DP photo of his with a hard hat. So, he's hardcore construction. That's what he's showing us. And he says that he's an electrical technician with 6.5 years in the Gulf. What can we tell him, Ritu or Alex?
Well, we can tell him that as regarding the civil constructions that Ritu talked earlier, and for office spaces, these large projects always need electrical technicians and experts, because it has to be done by experts, and for sure there is a workplace for him, and you should contact Ambe to say what he can do and to see where he can come.
Thank you for that, Alex. Arun Sharma. Rajendra, you really want us to answer a question about the Russian Federation? Okay, so Ritu, sorry.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead, Amit.
Yeah, I'll quickly answer this, but then we won't make this our last, because I think we need to end on something that Alex can talk about, which would be construction. Yeah. So Arun, see, Russian Federation, as I spoke previously, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Ukraine, they do have a lot of requirements in welding, fabrication, piping, pipe construction, jobs in fabrication. However, in Russia, the certifications required are very different. So your normal certifications, of AWS and CSWIP don't really work over there. Russia has a separate set of certifications for welding and fabrication, and you would need to qualify yourself for jobs over there. These certifications are available in India. They're available in Surat in SR Engineering, and they're available in Chennai in, I forget the name, but these are the only two centers in India which are authorized for training you and giving you certifications for being able to take up these jobs in the Russian Federation. So that's where you'll need to go. We'll take the last question of the day, and this is construction, but it's a little bit of a curveball. So this is the question I would like to take up for Alex, because it's scaffolding. Even I don't know if there are scaffolding jobs in Romania, so I would really like to find out.
Yes, as you know, you need scaffolding for every rising project, and yes, of course, there is a need for scaffolding foreman. If it, with 10-year experience, it's even better. So we're coming back to the productivity which an experienced worker can have in a construction site. So yes, I think Mr. Rajesh should look for a job in Romania or even other country in Europe. I think he will have a positive reaction for his request.
Also, Alex, are there any certifications like TUV that are required for scaffolders to work in Romania?
No, I don't think it's. We don't have any.
No. Any special requirements?
Special requirements, yes.
Also, there are a lot of questions coming in. We obviously can't continue taking these, but I do have a question. Even for masonry jobs or carpentry jobs, is there a requirement for them to be able to work at heights as well? Because, in the Gulf, normally that doesn't happen.
Yes. I mean, well, I know from our other clients that yes, they specifically asked us if the workers will be able to work at heights. Like you remember, Amit, one of our clients, who was making granaries.
Yeah.
And there they had to, it was at, so they definitely, there, I mean, depending on the kind of construction, but yes.
Superb, Ritu. Why I asked that question also is because, one of the messages which I wanted to leave everyone with is that there are slight differences, even technically, I think, in the way, construction work gets done in Europe and in Romania and the way it is done in the Middle East. One you've already talked about is the multitasking. Someone who can do masonry and maybe steel fixing is much more attractive
Yes.
than a pure mason. But also, this little requirements of, knowing a little bit about scaffolding and a little bit about rigging is something that, I've seen again and again. Thank you so much, Alex, Ritu, for joining us today. It's been a long session. We believe that there have been more than 6,000 people already who have logged in and seen us. So, Alex today is a famous man in India.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any last words?
Yes. As I sum up this our conversation, I think we would have three things to keep in mind. We have the productivity in work, followed by quality, because this is the base of everything, and of course continuity. These are the three skills that workers that think of coming in Europe should take in consideration.
I hope you have not trademarked these three words, Alex. I'm going to use these in my sessions now.
And I would just add to Alex's, my last message to all our Indian brothers and who knows, maybe sisters also who want to work in the construction industry, that let others do the donkey work. Let's be the horses. Yeah. So let's be in the construction industry doing smart work. Yeah. Not just labor work. Okay. So let's invest in ourselves. Let's upgrade our skills and become horses, and let other countries do the donkey work.
It sounds right. We should all do that.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Alex. Thank you so much, Ritu.
Okay,
this is a pleasure having you, and we hope you can join again, Alex. It would be our pleasure. Thank you, everyone.
Yes.
Sure. It was a really great pleasure. I could always come back.
Thanks, Amit. Thanks, Rajender.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good day.